Hey everyone, it's Russ from Lindy and Russ, and today we're going to talk about tools. Today we're going to go over 10 unique tools under $50 for the DIYer. All these tools you can order on Amazon and they'll be linked in the description below. All these tools have been either gifted to me or they're tools that I've purchased, and I can vouch that they're definitely a need in the workshop. Starting off, we're going to talk about the laser measurer. So it's just a small little handheld unit, and it's great for measuring large distances. It uses a laser to determine a distance between 2 points where you place the laser against and where you shoot a little red dot, and it will measure that distance. It's really good for checking out layouts, doing designs. It's more of a renovation tool than it is a woodworking tool, but it comes in really handy. Another great tool is Craig's Multimark. The Craig Multimark tool is a great tool for fine and precise measurements, and then also consistent measurements. It's really versatile, and it does a whole range of measuring in one small device. It can also be used as a square, and it also can measure 45s. Another great feature of the Multimark, and it's something that I probably use it the most, is to determine depths of cuts. So if you need to do like a groove cut, you can take the Multimark, use it to determine the depth, and then use that to figure out your next cut. So a speed square, and it essentially does what it's called. It speeds measuring up. It's an essential tool if you're woodworking, and I'd highly recommend picking one up right away if you don't already have one. The biggest thing they do is you can mark 90-degree angles on your boards. It also can measure custom angles. You can use it as a straight edge and use it as a cutting guide for a circular saw. The speed squares are also used if you're doing complex rafter work, which I haven't used to date, but it does have all those features built into them. One of the lesser known features of the speed square is that it can do custom angles, anywhere between 1 and 90 degrees. So let's say you wanted to do a 27 or 32 degree angle, you can use the speed square to mark those out. So this next one is a bit more of a higher end woodworking tool. It's a digital angle gauge, and the biggest use I would use it for is setting your blades true on either your circular saw or your table saw. When you get your table saw or circular saw from the store, they are set up, but they're not necessarily dialed in for high accuracy. So I always like to take this gauge, and you can level the gauge to a 0 degree on your worktop, and then you can take that gauge and put it on your blade to make sure the blade is sitting 90 degrees to your work surface. And why this is important is because this gives you nice, precise angles. When you're woodworking and you want to cut a 45, and your blade isn't true, and you actually cut a 44 degree, that makes a big difference when you go to fit everything together. Another great tool to have in the workshop is the pole saw. It's really good for doing fine cuts or for finishing off cuts that a circular saw or table saw can't quite complete because of how the blade is set on the table. Most pole saws come with a coarse and a fine blade, so you can use either side depending on what kind of material you're cutting, and they're really good, quick, easy tools to use in the workshop. The pole saw is a really simple tool, but it's saved me in several scenarios to get my job finished just because it can get into a lot of areas that normal power tools cannot. When you're woodworking, you're going to be gluing things. For the longest time, I just worked with the glue bottles that came from the hardware store, but there is a better option. These were actually gifts that I was given for stocking stuffers, I believe, from Lindy, but they've been really great additions to my shop. The first is this little glue tray, and it's great because you just pour out a little bit of glue. You have a squeegee applicator and a little brush applicator, and you can use those, especially when you're doing fine woodworking, to apply glue to your surfaces. And it's a great way to kind of control the amount of glue that goes onto your surfaces. And what's really nice about these silicone tools is that even if you forget to wash them right away, you can let the glue set, and because they're silicone, you can just bend the tools and it just pops the glue right off and you're good to go again. What's really nice about the applicator bottle is that you have a bit more precision when you're applying the glue, and you don't have to have a big bulky glue bottle when you're doing all your glue ups, and you can also buy your glue in bulk and just fill the bottle as required. When you're woodworking, you're always going to need clamps, and I think some of the best clamps to start out with are these jaw clamps. They're really nice because they can be either used to squeeze a piece together, or they can be reversed to apply pressure outwards. And I know even Lindy, even with small little crafts, use these all the time. So yes, a good set of clamps are a must.
After leaving, you were Lindy with her small little crafts.
That's not what I meant. Anytime you're painting or staining, you're always working with pieces that you're trying to hold above your work surface so that you can catch drips and cover edges. These were another great stocking stuffer that I got from Lindy, and they're these little paint triangles. And what they do is just hold your workpiece about an inch, inch and a half off your work surface and allow you to paint around a whole piece. So for example, if you're painting cabinet doors, it would allow you to get all the 4 edges as well as one face fully coated. They work great, they're really affordable, and they're easy to store, so it's a win-win-win. The paint triangles are also really handy if you're doing a project that pours over the edge, like a resin project or a paint pour, because it allows you to work all those edges and control any drips. This is probably one of my favorite, and again, this was another gift that I got from Lindy, and they are earmuffs or hearing protection. So what these are earmuffs, but they also have Bluetooth and FM AM radio and noise canceling. So they're a nice unit, and I use them not just in the workshop, I use them when I was mowing lawns, I use them when I was running heavy equipment around the acreage, so they're really versatile. And I also found that even though I have AirPods that are noise canceling, these are next level, and they are actually probably better suited for the workshop atmosphere where you have loud table saws or you have loud planers going, and these properly protect your ears. And I know that they work really good because I sometimes see Lindy trying to tell me something, but I can't hear it, or maybe that's a selective hearing. Another positive about these earmuffs is that these were actually ones that I used, and I know they're really durable because I actually drove them over with my tractor. But what they didn't last was our dog. So recommendation, okay for tractors, not okay for dogs. And here's a tool that I actually bought myself, and it's Craig's drilling guide. I'm not sure if you've ever tried to drill a straight hole freehand into a project, but it usually doesn't go well, and especially if you're trying to get any kind of depth. So that's where this Craig drill guide really shines. Some of the features of Craig's drill guide is that it can accept 6 different diameter of drill bits. It self-centers on 1/2 inch and 3/4 inch material, and it's really quick and easy to clamp to a workpiece. The drill guide is actually really handy if you don't have a drill press, because it actually turns your handheld drill into a little mini drill press so that you get nice, true holes that are 90 degrees to your work surface. Well, hopefully you enjoyed all those suggestions. I think any of those tools could make great gifts for stocking stuffers. I know I've used all of them personally, and they have been great additions to my workshop. If you want to find links for these and more, we have them all linked in our Amazon shop, and we've also linked them in the video description below. Don't forget to like this video, and if you enjoyed it, make sure you hit the subscribe button for more videos from Lindy and Russ. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.